Black Sabbath. What's their best album? What is the best album that Black Sabbath did? And as far as I'm concerned, there's only 6 Black Sabbath albums. The first 6. The ones with John Osborne in them. Sorry, it's my opinion. And you might have Ronnie James Dio opinions, all kinds of things. Ronnie James Dio sounded like Dio. John Osborne, a.k.a. Ozzy Osbourne, sounded like Black Sabbath, and then evolved into become Ozzy Osbourne. You can argue me that. Doesn't matter. It's all subjective. It's all your opinion. This is just mine. So, what is this album to you? Do you have it? Have you heard it? If you haven't heard it, it's just Black Sabbath. It's the first album they ever did. Some cool things about this album. I have all 6 albums, but I don't have all 6 albums in the Vertigo Swirl. I like the Vertigo Swirl. I like the way it looks when it plays on my record player. I like everything about Vertigo Swirl. I just do. I don't know why. I just do. I think it's just part of history. The songs on this album are side 1, Black Sabbath. Number 2, The Wizard. Number 3, Behind the Wall of Sleep. Number 4 is N.I.B. Second side, Evil Woman. 2 is Sleeping Village, and 3 is Warnings. Every single song on this album is a piece of artwork. It's a masterpiece. It's the first album they ever did. What do you do, right? It's iconic. Why is it iconic? This album right here is the invention of fucking heavy metal. It is. It is the invention of sounds that we had never heard before. Like, just listen to... Okay, so here's a fucking weird one. If you try and download this on, I don't care, Tidal, I don't care, Apple. I never tried Spotify because I don't have it. But, who else? YouTube. Fuck, I never tried YouTube. Shit, I should have done that. YouTube Music. I'm going to try that right now. Hope you don't mind. Where's the search on this? It's right here. Black Sabbath albums. Okay, let's see what we got here. It's the same thing. All you've got is Black Sabbath, The Wizard, The Wasp, Behind the Wall of Sleep, basically. N.I.B., Wicked World, A Bit of Finger, and there's no Evil Woman, there's no Sleeping Village, there's no Warning. Like, what happened here? Like, how did this happen? I don't know. You know, the world, I don't know. The world is so weird. Maybe I have a different copy of an album. I don't think so. That is a Vertigo Swirl, man. That is from Europe. It's produced by Vertigo Records, of course. So why are these songs kind of not on it? You know what I mean? Either way, every single song on this album is spectacular. And every single song on this streaming service is spectacular. But they're not the same. Like I said, this is the invention of heavy metal. They didn't even know what they were creating. Like, if you listen to Black Sabbath, the original song, like, the noises, the ideas, the darkness in it. Geezer Butler was questioned one time, and he goes, people like scary movies. Why don't we just make scary music? Sorry about the accent, but that's kind of what he said, in an interview. And you know what? This was kind of... Could you imagine in 1970 this coming out? And you listening to it? It'd be kind of like creepy music, man. It'd be kind of creepy, right? Especially the Black Sabbath. The Wizard. What the hell was with the 70s and the Lord of the Rings and the Middle Earth and then the Dungeons and Dragons and the all kinds of crazy stuff and everybody talking about wizards and necromancers and psychedelic stuff. It was just, I don't know, man. We were different people back then, man. I think we were better people back then. I almost, if you had to judge the world on its music and its genres and its eras and stuff, I think the 70s was a magical time in music. Like I said, the invention of heavy metal is in this album. But, after the death of Ozzy Osbourne, you kind of reflect, and you reflect on yourself if you liked Ozzy that much. I reflected upon myself, and it was about, like all the first things that I had done in my life. Because Ozzy had a really tough upbringing. He had a really tough childhood. He came from absolutely nothing. He's referred to that so many times in his life about, humble beginnings and, landing where he landed. And then, dying at the ripe old age of 76, which is pretty damn good for a guy who should have been dead at 40. Like literally 40, 45 tops with the way he rode, And he goes out with 7 years of absolute shit pain in his back because of all the stuff that had happened to him over the years, accidents and falls and Parkinson's and stuff. And he makes a joke and he says, I used to take pills for fun. Now I take pills just to be normal. Ozzy Osbourne will be a lot of things, but he would have never been normal, and I wouldn't have accepted it any other way. I just wouldn't have. This is not their best album, unless it is their best album to you. This is their first album. This is the first time you kiss a girl, the first time you have a beer with your dad, the first time you put on a vinyl record, the first time you were old enough to sit at the parents' table at a Christmas dinner. The first times of anything. This was their first record. Can you imagine the 20-year-old boys? And they weren't all the same age, but you know what I mean. In their 20s, making their first album. Can you imagine that? Like, the fame, don't kid yourself, was destructive in the end. But the excitement that would have gone on through their bodies and their hearts and their brains and, their ability to deal with that, which wasn't good, I might add. But that's what probably makes this album the best album for me, because when I started going back in time from Ozzy Osbourne back to Black Sabbath, I realized two things. Vinyl is final on Sabbath, for me, especially the Vertigo Swirl. And it was different than Ozzy. Ozzy was something very unique, but Sabbath was just insane. Like, for a kid in the 85 to 95 range of discovering Black Sabbath. It was just, I don't know. In my opinion, it's their best album because it was their first album. It was their best album because it was their first of the first, and it invented heavy metal. And I don't know if there's an argument against that. I don't know. But it's my opinion, and you can sign off in the comments. And how much do you like this album? How much do you like Sabbath? They changed my life, and I mean, I don't mean they fucking, I won $1 million and everything went, sideways. Or I got rich and I did this, or, I became a doctor because of Black Sabbath. I mean, they changed my life musically. They altered it in a direction that would go into rock and roll and, maybe not like country music so much. So, I don't know. I think that's the album. That's the most important album I own. I would have to say that is the most important album I own based on history. The history of where I came from, where I'm going to, and why I keep reviewing rock and roll songs, and why I know them all. Even when someone makes a comment, oh, well, have you ever heard this? And I'd be like, geez, I don't know. And then I play it and I'm like, oh God, yeah, I heard that. Just didn't know what it's called. You know what I mean? But Black Sabbath. Rest in peace, Ozzy Osbourne. Check out that thing on Paramount, that was just done about his Back to the Beginning tour. And you can't escape from nowhere. Anyway, like and subscribe if you like the video. And comment, please, on Black Sabbath.